You've been keeping aquariums for a while, or even if you just got started in the hobby, odds are you have a ton of photos of your tanks just scattered throughout your phone. You've also probably been in the position where you've wanted to show someone a picture of one of your tanks, but it's impossible to find. Or perhaps you're looking at your tank right now and thinking that it's not where you want it to be, and maybe you even find yourself a little disappointed in your scaping abilities. Now, what I've recently come to realize is that if you take a step back to look at how far you've actually come in your aquarium keeping journey, you may actually find much more pride and fulfillment in where you're at now. But that's difficult to do, especially when you can't even see the whole picture and the whole story. For that reason, as well as to address the former issue of just having an unorganized mess of photos of all of my aquariums, I've made something that I currently call photo dumps. So I've been using Aquarial for a good portion of time now. You can see that my account is dated to August 21st, and Aquarial is a platform that I made to manage my aquariums, but also ultimately promote aquarium education and collaboration amongst hobbyists. But you can see I have a ton of my tanks logged, ton of information that I've added, and almost all of my tanks are logged here except one, and that tank I'm using as an example today to show what it looks like to add a tank and just dump all of your photos that you have from your phone's gallery into Aquarial. So I am currently using my desktop to do this, but you can also use your mobile phone. I'm going to use this desktop view just for this video. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and hit the create button, which should be at the bottom middle of your screen on mobile. And I don't think I've added a 40 breeder yet to my profile because I only have the one tank, so I'm going to hit add new, and it is a standard model tank, so I'm going to hit standard. It's an Aqueon, and it's a planted tank. So we have an Aqueon 40-gallon breeder, and it is planted. The setup style doesn't necessarily matter. It's kind of just whatever you feel like assigning. In this tank, I set it up sometime last year. I don't know when it was. It doesn't really matter. I don't really have a name for this tank yet, so we're just gonna roll without a nickname and gonna roll without a profile picture. Hit review. Save it. There's our new setup card. So now I'm going to go ahead and dump all the photos that I have of this tank. So when I'm looking at a setup card like this, I can hit the middle button here, this photo, add photos, or I can go again to create and click on photo dump. But since this card's already here, I'm just going to hit add photos. So I call this feature photo dump because you can effectively just dump all the photos you have of your tank into Aquarial. And I have all my photos organized into a folder already. For you, most likely it's going to be a bunch of photos just in your gallery, and you'll have to like filter through your other gallery images. But I've already pre-organized mine, so I'll go ahead and just select all of them and drop them into Aquarial, and you'll see a bunch of dates jumping into view, and these are what I call on Aquarial journals. So each date has its own journal. You can have multiple journals in a day for a tank. It doesn't really matter, but the way the photo dump works is it looks at the metadata of the photos that you take and just takes the date out of that and lumps together photos that were taken on the same date. It's great if you want to just capture the progress of your tank over time. So with that said, I could go and look through this journal and make sure everything looks correct, but I don't want to do that, quite frankly. So I'm going to go ahead and assume it looks alright. And hit submit. And this is going to take a minute because it is a good amount of photos, as you saw. It'll probably take, I don't know, maybe 30 seconds or so. Low-key, maybe even more. It might take like a minute. But most journals should take, if you're adding like 5-6 photos, it should take around like 10 seconds, 10 to 20 seconds. So one thing I do want to say on this is that I would, in the future, like to make this a background task, if possible, but that is somewhat low priority because something like this, logging a bunch of photos at once, is, you know, not something that you would really be doing every day. So this is where it's useful to do this with a computer, because then, you know, you could just pull up another tab and, you know, do anything else on Aquarial or whatever other website. You can see these are actually some of the journals that are being added at this moment whilst this is uploading. Oh, looks like it actually finished. So yeah, it finished at probably around 90 seconds. And now if we go to Photos tab here, we'll see a bunch of photos from all the journals that have been added. And what we can do now is select these images. So I'll go ahead and hit this one, and let's go find another day. Let's do March 18th here. You'll see, just me perusing this, you'll see how much this tank has like backslid. It was doing really great, and then I messed up the stability of it by adding another light that was way too powerful, and now it is quite the mess. So, you know, I've been doing this a long time. I have a ton of tanks that look really pretty and stuff, but I still make mistakes. But anyways, we'll go ahead and save that, and now you'll see this is the current image album for this setup. And if I go to the card, you can go ahead and see now on this little brief the images of this setup which I've selected. So yeah, that's how easy it is to add a setup. And now if I wanted to, I could go ahead and add some livestock or add some equipment. So yeah, that's the photo dump feature. And in addition to changing the setup album, you can go and look at all the journals individually by going to the journals view, and you'll see on desktop it looks cool because you can actually see just a big canvas of all the, or of the trajectory of the tank over time, the journey it's been through. And if you wanted to see a calendar view, you can go to the calendars tab, and here you can look up each one of your tanks, or you can look at all of them. And if we go to 40 gallon that we just added, we can see at a high level all the dates that we have log journals for. And what I'll typically do now is I like to keep track of my water changes in this way. So for instance, if you look at this, I tend to take photos that can tell me in the future what I actually did on that day. So on top of just taking a photo of the tank itself, I will also take a photo of, you know, something that indicates what I did. So the rationale for that is, when I'm doing a water change or any bit of maintenance, I typically want to be present with the whole activity, and I don't want to pull out my phone and just enter data. So the idea is that I take a picture that captures everything that, you know, I want to be captured, and then when I do find a point in time in the future where I'm like, okay, I want to sit down and like actually, you know, compile all of the stuff that I've done, and then I'll have a pile of pictures whose subjects will tell me exactly what happened on that date, so that then I can go ahead and just edit each one of these journals that I create from a photo dump, and then add the relevant data like a water change or trim or something like that. So here, usually what I'll do for a water change is I'll take a picture of the tank at the end level. So now if I wanted to go ahead and edit this journal, I can go ahead and add a log, and it's a maintenance log, it's a water change. It was about 60% based off of the photo. So I'll go ahead and do that, and I can add a title if I wanted to. And if you wanted, you could even link a YouTube video. So the cool thing is you can actually link it with a timestamp, and it will embed it into the journal card. So for instance, if I go to a YouTube video and hit share and set this to start at this specific time, and then I can just go right over here, throw in the link, and if I click play, it'll actually, the video that's embedded will start at that specific time frame. So this is pretty cool in that, like, if you're filming like a fish room tour and doing a bunch of your, progress updates of your tank, for each tank that you have, you can just get the timestamp that it starts in the video and just throw it in here. So for one video, you can have multiple tanks, multiple journals linked to it. So yeah, it's a pretty cool feature with a lot of potential, I think, for other future sort of sub features. But yeah, I'll hit review, and now you'll see there's a button here that says show logs, and you can see that I did do a water change, and it'll save. And then now you'll see here in the calendar that it shows this other blue indicator now. So this is cool because if we look at, for instance, another tank of mine, this 50 gallon, you can see at a quick glance that I do a water change roughly every week. It's better seen here. It's like roughly once a week, maybe every other week, I'll do a water change. And the same thing goes for a trim. These indicators are very like aquascape or planted tank focused, since that's like largely where I'm at right now. So on this calendar page, you can also see all of your tanks at once. So if I hit all, you'll see I do have a ton of tanks, and basically every day I'm doing something. And again, this might look daunting in terms of like logging it, but usually what I'll do is I'll just take photos, and then maybe once a month I'll sit down and just do the whole photo dump thing that I just showed, and then I'll go ahead and click on each date and just edit the journals as they appear, like I just did for the 40 breeder. The dates are color coded, so the darker the color means there are more journals on that date. It's like a high activity date essentially. But yeah, in the future I would also like to make this customizable, so there are different types of logs that you can add. And maybe you're a breeder or something and you actually want to just see an overview of the times that a fish has spawned. I'd like you to be able to do that in the same way that I can, or add that here instead of, say, like the trim feature, so that you can see for a particular fish when it spawned, when it aged out of a particular food or something like that. So yeah. For more walkthroughs of the other features that Aquarial.io has to offer, you can go complete quests at the top of the homepage. Doing so will award you points, which will have a fun use later on.